it's so easy. This is left and right. You guys, I feel so incredibly humbled to be up here. Can we give a hand to Ian and the Creative Mornings crew? Whew. And then a hand to Rivian for hosting us in this beautiful theater. Yeah, totally. Man, this is so cool. I've actually never been here. This is my first time in this theater. I didn't know the freaking ocean was right there, so it totally made the drive worthwhile. I'm coming in from Pomona. Yeah, and then Adobe, I feel like, if I read it right, they're the ones who chose the crossroads theme theme for today. So here's a little bit of where we might going. If I haven't met you already, and just like Ivan said, my name is Walter. I have over a decade of experience in craft and design, ranging from soft goods to furniture. I see Steve. Where's Steve? Steven can't. Oh, there he is, dude. And interior. Now, I'm the founder and the designer of Cabal Crafted, which is a craft and design studio here in SoCal. And since 2014, my team and I have been trying to press back against this super frantic spirit that seems to permeate so much of our culture. So if you have seen any of the posts or the Instagram reels, you'll know that Ivan actually came by the Cabal Crafted studio and did a beautiful job. Look at the grain at this size. His camera's amazing. He did a beautiful job at capturing me repairing his Cabal Crafted wallet. Now, just like you said, that is about 10-ish or so years old. And it was a real fun time for me because when he came over, I felt like, man, Ivan really understands the slow spirit. This guy understands slowing down. And so I was scrolling through Instagram, and I was in the comment section, and I found this comment from Ivan. Nailed it, right? Nailed it. This dude totally understands, right? But to be fair, I get it. In the modern world, everything goes at a bajillion miles an hour. There's such a high value that's placed on our optimization. There's a high value that's placed on our productivity, you know? It's just a cultural habit. And that cultural habit, it just kind of keeps going on and on. But I also think that Ivan cared about that wallet. I think that he felt some kind of connectedness from it. And that's what we just want to feel, right? Connected to ourselves, yes, but also to things beyond ourselves. Things like other people. Things like the natural world around us. Things like values that we feel like are worthwhile. And earlier, we mentioned optimization. We mentioned, what was it? Optimization, productivity. You know, these kinds of things sometimes keep us disconnected. But that word connected, it has a twin. And that twin is meaningful, the word meaningful. And something that's meaningful is something that is connected to other things, you know. And I know that you care about that wallet, dude. I appreciate it. I have a little spot, you know, for you. But I think that there's something that you guys probably feel connected to, something you care about also. Enough to rush for, and probably enough to slow down for, too. Something that probably brought you here into this building today. So actually, let's slow down for that. Let's take some time. I brought my phone up here to do 60 seconds of some silence. It might feel weird for some folks, but don't worry, you're in good hands. Reflecting on this theme of crossroads, I want you to think of one crossroads in your own life right now. And we'll do this all together. It'll be quiet for 60 seconds. And I'll start the time. You can close your eyes. It might feel weird, but don't worry, I got you. And I'll tell you when time's up. Think of one crossroads in your own life. feel free to open your eyes. I would love to hear if anybody is willing to share, make a little bridge of connectedness here. One crossroads that's happening in your own life right now. Any raise of hands? Anyone willing to share? Oh, I got a bunch that jumped up. Yes.
Being here versus...
Oh, ooh. I got the mic.
Being here versus working.
Yeah, so either this
Spending
or
time
that.
with others versus being isolated.
This or that. Yeah,
I was going to say something very similar. I'm trying to start my own business, and that's taking away from friends and family and my own personal hobbies. So trying to find the balance of business starting and doing.
yeah, either this or that thing again. Yeah, and then in the back, Ivan, think. No? Okay. Anyone else? Yes. Guys, we're making bridges of connection here. This is beautiful.
I would have to say serving authenticity rather than serving a false audience.
Ooh, either this or that. Man, crossroads, man. We had one right here.
Career opportunities, whether I want to move and start in a new company or like double down on my role and the people that I'm with.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for sharing. Let's give it up for the folks who are being vulnerable, making connection here. Yeah, when you listen to it, this idea of crossroads has us thinking in this, it seems like a binary. You know, it's like an intersection, a fork in the road, either this or that. And so the roads diverge and they disconnect from each other. But I do think there is a way that we can play with this word, crossroads. So, crossroads, a road that you cross over like a bridge. You know, crosswords can be a bridge of connection. Let's think about that. Let's let that sit for a little bit. Crossroads can be a bridge of connection. And when we were talking about optimization, when we were talking about our productivity, you know, there's also terms like biohacking. When we use these kinds of words, I think we reduce our humanity down to machine language. That's weird. You're not a machine. I think as a human, you're probably near to trees and plants and nature. So why are we hurrying? Lao Tzu writes, nature never hurries, and yet everything is accomplished. But no creative wants to go so slow that nothing happens, right? We want to do something. We want to act on it. And so one of the things we do at Cabal Crafted Studio is this exercise called 10 minutes. We have some Cabal Crafted alumni in the crowd. And 10 minutes is where, just like you guys, we sit in silence, but we do it for 10 minutes. We find some places outside of the studio, and we make sure we don't see each other, because it can get kind of weird. But we come back, and we share one thing that's physical, that we noticed going on around us, and one thing that is non-physical, something like a thought or a feeling. And there was this one season in Cabal Crafted where I had these 3 super rad Asian American dudes from UCR. Man, they were so cool. Okay, 2 of them were Viet, one of them was Chinese, and I'm Filipino-Japanese, so we're like a variety pack. It like totally worked. We gelled with each other and everything. We had this rhythm of slowing down and then going to work with our hands. Heavy canvas bags. Durable leather accessories. One of them even had the job of sharpening my favorite Japanese knife. So we had this rhythm and we built it up for months and months. And I noticed in these 10-minute sharings, the talks would go deep, but nobody really shared anything deeply personal until later. You know, deep and personal and vulnerable. Until this one morning. You know, you kind of play the slow game. Maybe they'll share a crossroads in their own life, you know. Until this one morning. One of them decided to share something vulnerable that their relationship with their dad was actually not doing that great, and not having a great relationship with their dad was weighing on him. And it affected him. And at 10 a.m., in that quiet studio in the morning, the weight in the air was so heavy, he wept from the weight of it. And we were silent from the weight of it too, with our arms around each other in a huddle. And there's a word for that: connectedness. And we felt connected at that time. Crossroads can be bridges of connection. And we saw that bridge because we slowed down. Nature never hurries, and yet everything is accomplished. So how can we as creative people build, write, design a world that can slow down and make space for the crossroads of people's lives? So much so that the tapestry of connectedness catches us when the frantic world is too busy. There's a super cool menswear brand that I used to work for. They're called Apollos. So these days they focus on their market bags. You guys have probably run into an Apollos market bag. But either way, I know them for these two values: industry and advocacy. Now, some people might look at those and go, those two things, they don't gel with each other. They're at odds with each other. There's a crossroads there. There's a fork in the road. If you can look at their emblem here, you can see the eagle of industry. And like that eagle, they wanted to be a big player in the industry, making bags that were really durable and lasted super well, and they were super functional for everybody's daily life. And they're really simple design too. But they also wanted to be a light. They wanted to be advocates for the livelihood of their workers. And you would think, man, if you want to put that together, you probably have to turn the industry on its head. But founders of Apollos, Ran and Shay, my friends and former bosses, they were okay with turning the industry on their head. Actually, if you turn the eagle of industry on its head, you get a light. You get a light, something that they really wanted to be. They wanted to advocate for the livelihood of their workers as, I think it's called a social enterprise. But they didn't keep it symbolic. They actually fashioned, shaped it, brought it into form in the real touchable world. So in addition to certified fair trade wages, they also provide, I think it's called profit dividends and a retirement plan for the Bangladesh mothers who make their bags. At the intersection or the crossroads of advocacy and industry, they saw a bridge. Instead of conflict, they saw connection, and they acted on it. And it's the acting on it that is really important, because there's an idea that if we just consume more knowledge, if we get more informed without acting on it, the world will get better. Yeah, no need to lift a finger. But there's a little bit of a cautionary tale here, I think, so go with me on this little formula. If you take the word invalid, you take it apart and you get not valid. So if you take the word invisible, right, you take it apart, you get not visible. Maybe the word inhumane, you get the word, or you take it apart and you get not humane. If you passively follow the formula, then add the word informed in there, you get informed, not formed. Wait, that's the wrong outcome. But hear me out. There's a cautionary tale here, because that's my worry for the culture, is that if we continue with the knowledge consuming, if we stay passively on the same formula, we become the wrong version of informed. Not formed, no shape, disconnected. So the word informed actually comes from Latin, informare, and that means to shape, to form, to bring into being, you know, into being in the real, tangible world. And that's exactly what Apollos did, and I know that's what you guys can do as creatives also. When Ivan asked me to speak up here, I actually hadn't seen him for almost 10 years, about 10 years, something like that. And so we talked, we sat down, and he told me about the crossroads going on in his life. And at some point, he pulled out this wallet and said, "Hey, I still have that wallet." He said, "I still have that wallet." And I repaired this wallet for him in those videos and stuff. This wallet became a bridge connection between me and Ivan. I think he really cared about this wallet. I think it makes him feel connected. And I repaired that wallet. When I repaired it, our connectedness was also repaired. There's something there. Our connection was also repaired. And in every Cabal crafted belt, there's also this kind of bridgeway to another idea. Each of the belts inside have this inscription, hand stamped, no electricity. This Cabal crafted good will endure with you until its end. So we challenge you, endure with people until your end. If a belt is being faithful to you for a long time, isn't that worth repairing instead of throwing away? Why do we throw people away? Why do we throw relationships away? You know, this is a bridge on top of being a belt. And guys, building bridges does not have to be an idea. It doesn't have to stay in the idea world. We can fashion it. We can shape it. We can bring it into form in the touchable, physical world here. Now, I don't know what bridges you guys are building. I can't tell you if there's one you should build or shouldn't build. I can't tell you how to build it. But I do know there are some bridges in the world that only you can build. So slow down for it. Find the connectedness. Because that's what we all want, right? To feel connected. To ourselves, yes, but also to things beyond ourselves, like other people, like the natural world around us, like values that we feel like are worthwhile. And you remember that word connectedness, it has a twin, and that word is meaningful. So to long for and to make a connected world as creatives is to long for and to make a meaningful world. Crossroads can be bridges of connection. And when you come to that crossroads in your life, now, again, in the future, they will happen, you can see it as a bridge. But don't rush it. Don't rush it like a robot, because nature never hurries, and yet everything is accomplished. Thank you, everyone.